I still see Alabama.
And welcome in. It is game day 502. It is going down here. More shenanigans. Your boy Rashawn Myers. Jay Hazard, the legend himself, is in the building with me. 4521 Bardstown Road. There's so many things going on, Jay, here. More shenanigans. You got the Louisville game on. You got other basketball games on. You got darts getting thrown. You got pool being played. It's going down on a Friday night, man.
Can ask for a better TGI Friday night.
Yeah.
There's so many things to do. Nice, a little cool atmosphere.
Yeah, absolutely. Always. Anytime you come out here, it's always a great atmosphere. A bunch of great folks having a good time. Friday night, of course, is my favorite night. Karaoke night is going down.
Yeah, we're going tonight.
So we're gonna be singing, singing the night away.
I'm a little tired, a little bit today.
You're a little tired
because of that football game last night.
Oh yeah. Hey, I'm definitely tired. I'm still worn out from that. Your University of Louisville Cardinals did improve to 9-1.
Yeah.
They found a way to get it done, so they didn't ruin my weekend because I really felt as if they was going to ruin my weekend.
Oh, well, it's going to be the disaster.
What time is it now? 7:30 all day. I hadn't felt that they started to ruin my weekend yet. I think it was about 2 hours later when I was like, yeah, they about to mess this whole thing up.
Yeah, pretty much so.
You know what I'm saying?
But anyway, it was a great weekend, man.
Yeah, it was a great night last night. It's a great night tonight, especially after Louisville won, because I did not want to have to get on the air tonight. Just like I didn't want to go into the press conference yesterday and have to give it to Jeff Brown and give it to some of the players. So I really appreciate the fact they pulled that out of the fire, because I was really about ready to go in there and set some butts ablaze.
Well, that bipolar were coming out. He was ready halfway.
So Jeff Brown can just thank himself and thank his players for pulling him out of the fire last night.
The interesting thing that you said yesterday, last night, Rashawn, you said something very important to football sports.
Yes.
And you were talking about the naysayers and those kind of things about it's just not about Louisville. Louisville just has to win, but we have the other so-called dignitaries up top.
Yeah, well, the thing is this, is that, when I thought about the game, of course, when you're going through the game, everybody knows the records. Everybody knew that, coming into the game, Virginia was, 2-7 coming into the game, or 2-6 coming into the game, had not been playing well, been close. They did find a way somehow to knock off North Carolina, so that should have been an indicator that this team can play. I mean, you're talking about, a North Carolina team that at that point was still undefeated. So the fact that they beat that North Carolina team, you knew that they had some talent, they had some ability. But the thing about when you have a team that's special, and you have a team that has something on the line like Louisville does right now. Jeff Brown, brought Louisville into the playoff rankings, ranked at number 14. They moved up to number 11. Over this past week, when you have a team that's sitting there and you're talking about playoffs and you're talking about ACC championship games and all those types of things, I think one of the big things that people fail to realize is that the further into the season you get, the better everybody's going to play. The harder it is going to be continue to win. I mean, we've seen lots of teams. We've seen great teams. We've seen teams like Alabama. We've seen teams like Georgia get tested. We've seen, and we talked about it last night, a great West Virginia team that was undefeated going in against a 5-6 Pittsburgh team with a berth in the national championship game, and Steve Slayton and Pat White, and they lose to some nobodies with Pittsburgh. That cross gets heavier to bear the further into the season you get. And I think that's what Louisville's dealing with right now.
What makes this Louisville team so special right now?
I mean, honestly, the biggest difference when I look at this team versus 2016, which is the last time Louisville was 9-1 this far into the season, of course, that magical year with Lamar Jackson where he won the Heisman. I think the biggest difference between that year in 2016 and this year in 2023 is the fact that I think everybody pretty much understood it was all about Lamar, and it was about just having just a generational talent that could pretty much put everybody on their back and just carry them. This Louisville team is not built like that. This Louisville team is a sum of its parts type team, where the defense contributes, the passing game contributes, the running game contributes. We saw last night the special teams contribute with the punt block and touchdown. I think that's what makes this Louisville team so special, is that in every phase, including on the sidelines with the coaches, they do everything well. And that's what's about this team. It doesn't have to be the same person on a given night. It can be, it can be Isaac Garendo, like it's been the last couple. We've seen what Jawar Jordan's done this year. We've seen Jack Plummer come out and have some very strong games. The defense has been playing lights out. Outside of the second quarter versus Georgia Tech and the third quarter versus Virginia, the defense has been outstanding all year. So it's a Louisville team that is good and solid in every phase. An imaginative offense, a very stingy defense, and good talent at every position. It's amazing.
To you, Rashawn, how good you really think this football team really is? Right now, it's sitting at 9-1. Probably in a couple of days, they'll probably be right number 9, number 8 in the country.
Yeah.
How good this team really is?
I think they have a shot. I think they have a shot to beat, I think they have a shot to be able to go down there and knock off Miami and take care of a no-doubt second-place finish in the ACC and a berth in the ACC championship game. I do think that they're good enough to finally beat Kentucky. Finally. Because I'm tired of losing to Mark Stoops.
That's going to be a great game. Kentucky
I'm tired of seeing Kentucky just bully Louisville all around the field. I at least want to have a competitive football game. I don't want to feel like my team is scared going into the game, and I don't think that'll be the situation. Yes, sir.
You never seen a Louisville team hit as hard as this team hits consistently on defense. These guys get up from the other team, and they're like, I don't want no more of that.
Hey, absolutely. Hey,
you can hear it.
Hey, and I'm pretty sure you guys heard them just talking about how hard hitting this defense is. Absolutely. Like, that has been one of the hallmarks. This team is just physical. The whole attitude of the team is physical. They come out there. They make you know that they're there. They make you feel that presence. And we've seen that in every game. We saw it against a Georgia Tech team that was way too excited going into halftime when they had the lead on Louisville. And Louisville go in and just basically, just impin their will and enforce their will on them in the second half of that game. And we've seen them do that over and over and over again. And I think that's one of the things that's been missing in that UofL UK rivalry. So when you ask me how good they are, I think they're good enough to beat anybody left on the schedule, including Florida State in the ACC championship game. It's really up to them. And honestly, it's about, how well Jack Plummer's playing.
And through all these injuries that Louisville's having right now.
Yeah.
Receivers, from running backs, to defense, offensive line, and they still find a way to win.
Yeah, because that right there is why they talk about how important depth is. If you're going to have a team that has an opportunity to do something special, your number ones not only have to be good, but your number twos and your number threes have to be able to come in and spell the number ones. And, in worst case scenario, like we've seen with Jarvis Brownlee was the number one quarterback, no doubt, on Louisville's team. Jarvis Brownlee goes down. You know what? Now Quincy Riley is one of the best quarterbacks in the ACC. And we see Q Riley step up. We see Devin Neal step in there. We see Storm Duck step in there. And next man up. And that's what we're talking about. We're talking about depth. We're talking about talent. And I think that's one of the biggest changes in this Louisville team is that not only do they have talented starters, Jeff Brom did an amazing job of going into the transfer portal and building that depth. Building depth on the offensive and defensive lines. Building that depth in the secondary. So now when guys get hurt, you have something behind them. It's not just dropping off a cliff. For most years, and before NIL became a big thing, before the transfer portal became a big thing, we really only saw that type of talented depth with teams like Alabama, teams like Georgia, teams like Clemson. Where you had twos and threes that could go in there and play. And I think that's the biggest difference, is that now they have that depth that really makes you a threat. And it's exciting. You know, I mean, it wasn't pretty last night, but as I said, it's going to get harder. Every game is going to get harder from here on out. It's going to take a special effort for Louisville to go down to Coral Gables down there in Miami and beat the Hurricanes. It's going to take a special effort. It's not going to be easy. Just as hard as it was for Lamar Jackson and those guys in 2016 to go down to Houston and win that game. You know, I mean, that's what it's going to take to get it done. So, I mean, it's very, very exciting right now. You know, when you talk about the opportunities ahead of them. So, I mean, you know, we'll have to see. But no, I mean, well, what do you think about it? Like, I personally think that they can win every game out there. Like, when you see them, Jay, you know, I know you question a lot about, you know, just guys going out there and doing their job. I know that was the biggest thing you saw for them. You know, how good do you think they are?
I think they're a very special team. Probably one of the special teams I've seen since Selleberger and Coach Charlie Strong.
All the way back. Ted Washington and crew.
Big Ted. The big Washington Redskins. But you know what's the interesting thing about Jeff Brom is he's enjoying. It's like a PlayStation game. He's like playing. I'm going to go ahead and put in such and such as in the position here and put Lamar in this position. I mean, he just having fun. But when I see something last night in the press conference, though, he's so excited about this football team through injuries and the coaching staff. He acknowledged how great the staff does what they do, their job. And that's a very important role as a coach and a player that buys into the coach.
Absolutely.
And listen to the coach. And that's what makes a kid say, I got to get out here and fight. Get out here, do my job. I don't do my job, but somebody's going to come in and replace my job. A very special football team.
Hey, I tell you what, man, like when I think about this team and everything that Louisville has with this group, I haven't seen since Bobby Petrino came to Louisville back in the early 2000s, the first time around. You know, that's when I really learned the understanding, because that's the way. Well, that's the way Bobby taught the game, right? It was 11 men doing their job, doing it perfectly, and if you do that and everybody follows the same plan, if everybody does their job, we're guaranteed to be successful. And that's the same type of confidence that I feel that Jeff Brom instills in these guys right now. You know, that's one of those things where I understand. It's like I never have to worry about wondering if Louisville's ready to play. Doesn't mean they can't lose. It doesn't mean that you can't have, you know, freak interceptions, pick sixes, you know, weird fumbles, you know, like you saw last night. It doesn't mean you can't lose, but all I know is that my team is ready to go out there and they're ready to play.
All you got to do is learn what the coaches have in the game plan is for this week. Because you got less than 9 days till you play Miami.
Yes.
A lot of time to rest, get your body right again.
Yeah, go out to more Shenanigans on a Saturday night, watch football games. You can do that too.
I enjoy it. And, you know, I love the game and I enjoy it. I asked you a lot of important questions last night about how serious this team is really getting, because when that injury went down against in Virginia last night, you couldn't hear a pin drop in the stadium.
Yeah, I know. It was the atmosphere last night was different. You know, it was one of those things where it just felt like the crowd was on pins and needles. You know, they had the big glow game build up. And first of all, let me tell you, University of Louisville, like, I love y'all, Miss Kathy and everybody over there, Josh Hurd, and all you guys. Y'all know I love y'all, but like the glow game hype, like that's almost as promised. You know, remember how they used to promise you could go to the movie theater and see like a movie in 3D, and it was never good. Like, remember the old Jaws, like Jaws 3D, and they like try to act like the shark was gonna come out the water at you, like, but it never really lived up to that. That's what the Louisville glow game was like. You know what I'm saying? They had all this hype talking about we're gonna have all these glowing effects and we're gonna have all this stuff going on, and then we go out there. All I knew is that Louisville was wearing black jerseys that looked like they were kind of green. Like, they ain't turned out the lights. They ain't do anything. They could have had the cheerleaders out there with glow-in-the-dark hula hoops or something.
But I will say
ACC rule wouldn't let them do it. Oh, really? So one of the esteemed folks and customers out here just said that the ACC rules prohibit Louisville from having fun.
I think that
So that's exactly what I was expecting.
They was going in the tunnel as they was coming out.
Yeah, that was about it. Yeah, so they turned off the lights in the tunnel so we could at least see them in the tunnel.
Oh man, it was hot.
Yeah, I mean the fans did their part, man. They had glow sticks in the crowd. There were some people that had lightsabers out in the crowd. You had Darth Vader, and you know what I'm saying? And everybody was ready for a glow party. Like they was gonna have this thing going on, and then we just sat there and watched extra bright lights and nothing shining. I was very let down by that.
Very, very special football team.
Very, very special.
All the teams that like I said, that I like out of UofL. This is probably one of the best ones.
Yeah, the one thing I said about this season, and the thing I said about what's going on right now, like Louisville fans do it, Kentucky fans do it, fans of every team do it. The better your team is, the more we like to project out and look forward and raise our expectations. And what ends up happening a lot of the time is that they get so invested in thinking about what could happen. Oh, we could make a playoff. Oh, we could have all this stuff happen, that you're not necessarily enjoying the ride as much as you are, because all you're doing is worrying about what may happen if we lose. So, I don't feel like we're enjoying things as much as they should be. And I think that's one of the things that I really hope that folks are really understanding. Right now, Louisville is having their greatest season in football history. Like right now, the fact that Louisville is going to be in a Power 5 conference championship game, something that this program has never done. The fact that they're sitting at 9-1, they get they're one win away from another, one of the 6th or 7th double-digit win seasons in history. Okay, they're almost guaranteed that they're going to go to a New Year's 6-day bowl. Okay, so an Orange Bowl, which have been very special here, and like I said, they're going to be in this conference championship game. That would be even if Louisville didn't make the playoff, that's still the greatest season in Louisville football history. And that's why I want us to enjoy what's happening, because this is special. Like everything, just going and just watching it, having fun with it. The fact that ESPN is going to be talking about Louisville football, the fact that they came back and they won that game, you know how many replays they're going to get? You know how much people are going to be talking about them? And now we can sit back on Saturday, watch, Oregon play, watch Washington play, watch Alabama play, hope that Duke knocks off North Carolina to go ahead and lock up that championship game appearance. We can have fun now and just enjoy it and just relax. Like, that's huge.
I love it.
I'm excited.
I'm excited. Get to sit back on the weekend.
What I'm not excited about is the fact that we, of course, here at Shenanigans, they have so many beautiful flat screen TVs, beautiful TVs everywhere. But what's not so beautiful right now is when I look at the biggest TV, I'm looking at this Louisville Chattanooga score, and with a minute 13 left in the first half, University of Louisville trails Chattanooga 33-23. That's not that. It's a beautiful TV, but that's an ugly score, Jay. It's an ugly score. We'll talk about that hour number 2. We'll get into that in a little bit, but yeah, that makes me sad. That makes me sad. I
feel like it's a goody ship show that kept lollipop. You know that song back there.
Yeah, the good ship lollipop.
I'm on a Jeff Brom.
Absolutely, yeah. We're gonna talk about happy things right now. I got plenty of time to talk about Kenny. Kenny's lucky I can't go to the press conference tonight, especially if his score holds up. But no, it is about them. But I'm serious. Like, this is literally right now on pace to be the greatest football season in the history of a team that has a pretty good football history. Let's not discount the fact that Louisville has done some special things. When you talk about Fiesta Bowl victories, you talk about Orange Bowl victories, you talk about Sugar Bowl victories, you talk about some of the things that this program has done. Louisville's done some special things in football. So talk about that they're having their greatest season ever. That's big. So, I just hope folks are enjoying it and they're just not getting so caught up in what could happen. Like, that was the one thing about this past week that bothered me about listening to a lot of local sports radio, as well as on Wake Up 502, which comes to you every Saturday morning, 9 to 11 a.m. on 96.1 FM, 1450 a.m., by the way. One of the things that I have been, discouraged by or worried by is the fact that everybody's been talking about the playoff. Can we make it to the playoff? What we're going to do to get to the playoff? If we beat Florida State in the championship game, can we get into the playoff? And while I understand the draw and the excitement, it worries me.
Can you explain how this thing goes with the playoff and AC tournament?
Yes.
Like, can you explain to people about that?
Okay, so with the positioning of what happened yesterday, with the fact that Louisville found a way to go out there, get the win over Virginia, basically at this point, Louisville has 4 different scenarios that puts them into the ACC championship game. Okay, those 4 scenarios, of course, the easiest scenario would be Louisville going out, taking care of business this week, beat Miami. But the other 3 scenarios, 2 of the 3 scenarios can happen actually before Louisville even, takes the field to play Miami. Okay, if North Carolina loses one of their next 3 games, they finish up with Duke, they finish up with Miami, and they finish up at NC State. If they lose any one of those 3 games, Louisville is in the ACC championship game. If the winner of the Boston College Virginia Tech game, so Boston College and Virginia Tech play tomorrow, whoever wins that game, if that team then goes on to lose either of their last 2 games, Louisville is in the ACC championship game. Okay, and then also I believe it's if Georgia Tech knocks off Clemson and Syracuse in their last 2 games, then Louisville's in the championship game. So, needless to say, I believe Louisville's percentage chance of making the ACC is about 90% right now, 91%, something like that. So, there's a whole lot more ways that Louisville is going to make the ACC championship game than not make it. So, they're pretty much in there. Okay, so that's huge. Like I said, first championship game ever. You know, they've never done it before. So, that opportunity is huge for them. But then you extrapolate that out. If you want to take that next step, you have to go out there and beat Miami. Okay, the next step would be have an opportunity to play in the playoff. Okay, and when you talk about the playoff, the only way that's going to happen, 2 things have to happen. A, of course, Louisville has to take care of business. They have to beat Miami next week, and they have to go and knock off Kentucky and get that monkey off their back at the end of the year. That has to happen. Then the second thing that has to happen, Florida State has got to be undefeated going into the playoff, into the ACC championship game. Florida State has to have that happen. Oh boy, let's see what we got on here. Let's see. All right, let's see.
I still see Alabama.
I appreciate that. Yes, the fact that they're going to have that big rivalry game, and then you have Louisville the following week, that letdown, that come down off of that, regardless of whether they win or they lose, if they win, they have the big head. If they lose, they may just, go ahead and pack it in. Like that's what Miami teams do in November anyway. So, one way or the other, it probably went well for Louisville. So, no, that's an excellent point. But if you want that opportunity to go to the playoff, Florida State has to win. That means Florida A knocks off Miami this weekend. They win their last 2 games out.
Say Miami beats Florida State tomorrow.
If Miami beats Florida State, it makes it a lot more difficult for Louisville to make the playoff, because I really feel like a key component of Louisville making the playoff is Miami staying undefeated, getting to either 2nd or 3rd in the playoff ranking. So that way, when those 2 teams meet in the ACC championship game, Louisville will be sitting around 5th or 6th. Florida State will be sitting there, as I said, at 2nd or 3rd. So then what would happen is Louisville win that game. Those 2 teams would just switch positions. Louisville goes into 3rd. Florida State falls back, okay, to 6th or 5th or whatever. Okay, so that's why it's very important that Florida State stays undefeated. If Florida State loses to Miami or either of their last 2 opponents, I just feel that if Louisville ends up, if Miami loses, let's say they drop back to 7th, and Louisville and Miami play and it's 6 versus 7 in the ACC championship game, I don't think they'll move them into that top 4. Then Alabama's going to get in. If Georgia loses to Alabama in the SEC championship game, both of those teams are going to get in. So I think the only way to make that happen is you have to be cheering for Florida State the rest of the season, and Louisville needs to take care of their business. If both of those things happen, playoff is a possibility. Not a guarantee by any stretch, but it's a possibility.
Seriously. Wow.
Definitely.
Wow. 6.
Hey,
Wow.
I would love it. I would honestly. Let's see.
One more.
There we go. We got one more. All right, let's check this out. It says, and who has Florida State beaten to be number 4 in the nation? No, hey, a lot. That's a good question. Now, Florida State, they had a lot of recognition coming into the year. Jordan Travis was probably the Heisman favorite coming into the year. So I think what Florida State's done to this point, honestly, is just more about where they started than anything else. On top of the fact that, when I look at them, the reason I have so much confidence that Louisville can go in and win that game, Florida State's honestly almost lost about 5 games this year. There's been several games that have been very, very close. Like several games. So, I think that the opportunity is there that even if Florida State is undefeated, that doesn't mean that they are. This isn't Jameis Winston. This isn't one of those Charlie Ward, when you talk about the classic championship level. Florida State. That's just not what this is. Florida State's okay, but even Scott Satterfield had success against Florida State. So if Scott Satterfield can do it, anybody can do it. That's like so easy a caveman can do it.
We got some good college football going on tomorrow.
Yes.
Get to sit back and watch it.
Absolutely.
Got Alabama, got Kentucky going on head to head.
Cannot wait.
Florida State's quarterback was a UofL quarterback.
Oh yeah. Jordan Travis was at UofL, and now he's a Heisman Trophy winner. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, like there's so many big time games going on tomorrow. I mean, when I look down this, when I give you the rundown of top 25 games that mean something for the season. Now that Louisville has won. I mean, you have Alabama, Kentucky. That kicks off at noon on Saturday. That gets you going on ESPN.
You got Michigan and Penn State.
You got Michigan, Penn State. That's going to be huge. Michigan, their first test of the year, and now they just made the announcement that John Harbaugh is going to be suspended for the rest of the year. Are y'all looking for the UK game, by the way? Just wondering. Go all the way back to the left. It should be the first game on there. If you go all the way back to the left. See, I see CJ has. I can multitask. Keep going that way. Keep going. There it is. There it is. See, look at you.
Big Blue Nation.
See, look. I'm doing IT and sports radio at the same time.
Big
That's
Blue
crazy,
Nation.
huh? There we go. And as they start the second half, UK is currently on top of Texas A&M Commerce, 41-30. So a little bit closer than what was expected. I think Kentucky was about a 29-point favorite coming into this one. So that's definitely a little closer than you would have expected. So we'll have to see what happens with UK. They definitely are struggling like Louisville, but it's still not as easy as what it should be right now. So we'll see about that. But no, I mean, talking about more of the games, like you said, we have UK Alabama. Probably the only time I'll cheer for UK football all year. Just because if Kentucky finds a way to beat Alabama, then that just eliminates the Tide from taking a playoff spot. So I'll cheer for Big Blue in that situation. Yeah. But I still won't say go Big Blue, but I'll at least give them a little golf clap. I'll give them a little clap.
I'm cheering for them.
I'm going to give them a little clap.
I'm cheering for them tomorrow to beat Alabama.
Absolutely. We talked about the fact that, what did you think about that, by the way? When we look at the Michigan-Penn State game, we've heard about the little scandal and all that stuff, with Harbaugh and the, recording the games and, Connor Stallions and that whole thing. They announced that Harbaugh's going to miss the rest of the regular season.
That's right.
Do you think that was a fair punishment? Like, do you think that was fair to go ahead and do that? The Michigan people are upset about that. Like, what do you think about that?
It's not his first rodeo. He's done this beforehand.
Well, like what Damian Tomlinson said a long time ago. He said, my coach used to always say, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. So
he's not the only college coach that's doing it.
Yeah, true. But they said the difference between what Michigan was doing and what other teams do, a lot of teams try to steal signs during games. They'll watch what's going on the sideline to see if they can get any cues or, keys to what they're doing. But Michigan was doing advanced scouting. They were sending somebody to other games to steal signs of other teams during games they weren't playing. And I think that's the difference. and that's the reason why they're getting in trouble. So like that whole, everybody's doing it. It doesn't matter if I'm smoking weed, mama, because everybody smokes weed. I don't think that plays in this situation. I don't think that plays in this situation.
Janelle, get your hands on the jar. It happens.
I'm just saying that I don't necessarily think that holds water.
Well,
so do you think it was fair 3 games?
Yeah, I believe so. That's fair. That's fair.
I mean, that's a big deal. I mean, because you have you're on the road at number 10 Penn State, and then of course you end the season with the rivalry game, number 1 Ohio State. So not having your head coach during those games, like that's big.
Number 3 in the country.
Yeah. So I mean, it's definitely a tough situation. It's a tough situation for everybody involved. So we'll have to continue to monitor that and see how that goes. It's great for Louisville because hey, one way or the other, if Michigan doesn't have their head coach, there's an opportunity that they go ahead and take maybe 1 loss, if not 2. If they lose to Penn State this weekend, Michigan could very well end up getting knocked out of the playoff because I don't think they're going to beat Ohio State. I am not the biggest believer right now in Michigan football, just because if you look at their schedule, they've probably played the easiest schedule to date of anybody in Power 5 football. They haven't played anybody. Like they've played the worst teams in the Big Ten, and their non-conference schedule was horrible. So we don't really know who Michigan is. Yes, they're undefeated. Yes, they're ranked number 3 right now. But I don't think we really know who Michigan is. So I'm still skeptical.
I haven't had a chance to watch them this year.
I mean, J.J. McCarthy, their quarterback, is having a great year. And, of course, the Michigan defense, for some reason, when everybody signs, you're really good on defense. So that's helped them out as well. But, I'm going to wait and see with that. So, we'll find out what happens with Michigan and Penn State.
Colorado.
You keep wanting to bring up this Colorado. Every time we talk about the big games of the week, Jay wants to bring up Colorado.
I don't want you going on.
Did you know Coach Prime is sitting at 4-5 right now?
That's true.
And he's 2 games from being eliminated from playoff contention. He's only 1-5 in the Pac-12.
And all his friends have left him.
Hey, I told you last month when we were here for Game Day 502, I told you last month Coach Prime wasn't going to the bowl game. Didn't I tell you that? Yes, and I think they were, 3-1 at the time, or 3-2? And I told you they weren't going to go to the playoff or to the bowl game then, didn't I?
That's right.
Coach Prime got to get a little bit more humble, y'all. He's a little bit, you got to have some humility. Coaching is hard. Coaching is very hard. So to come out and just kind of, talk about I'm the best coach in college football and give me a mirror and all that stuff, I didn't like that. I didn't like that at all. He needs to have a little bit more humility. You ain't a football player no more, brother. You're a coach.
You got Washington, Utah, rolling to Washington. I love that game.
Don't be trying to change it. Don't try. This man, Jay has literally. Hey, I'm gonna tell y'all, and I'm telling everybody in here, the millions watching online, and to all the folks here, Jay has wore a Coach Prime sweatshirt to the Louisville football game as Louisville media. This man wore a Coach Prime sweatshirt. Yes, I called you out, and everybody knows it now. I couldn't believe you walked out.
It's just a sweater, man.
You love Coach Prime, don't you?
Yes.
I know you do.
Yes, that's okay.
It hurt your feelings. They just get whooped every week.
It's okay.
I would quit giving you a hard time.
We're coming.
Are you sure?
We're coming.
You going to 6 and Cedar?
We're going. Tennessee and Missouri?
Yeah. We got Tennessee, Missouri. That'll be coming up. Not necessarily. I think these teams, because they have 2 losses, doesn't necessarily factor in. The one big factor that everybody has to remember, there has never been a Power 5 team that was a conference championship game winner that has ever gone to the playoff. Okay, so all of these teams that are sitting with 2 losses, that pretty much eliminates them from what we've seen in the history of the playoffs. So Tennessee and Missouri pretty much got eliminated when they lost to Georgia. I thought they were going to have an opportunity. They looked good. They gave Georgia a fight for more than a half, but they just kind of fell apart down the stretch. But I think the Tennessee and Missouri, I think they're pretty much on the outside looking in. The other games of note, yes. That's a huge game. Ole Miss traveling to Georgia. They're traveling to Athens. That's going to be a humongous game. Ole Miss sitting at 8-1, Georgia at 9-0. That's huge for playoff implications. If Ole Miss loses that game, Louisville, of course, will leapfrog over them, and that will eliminate Ole Miss from the opportunity for the playoff. So I think that's going to be one to definitely keep an eye on. I think that with the teams that are playing this week, Louisville's pretty much going to be guaranteed they're going to move up to probably number 9.
Michigan State, Ohio State.
Yeah, you got Michigan State, Ohio State. Michigan State's having a horrible year. I don't expect Michigan State to give Ohio State much of a game. The Buckeyes, even though they're still trying to figure out the quarterback position, they got Marvin Harrison Jr. And like that dude, just throw the ball up. Just go get it. He looks like I don't know if it's Randy Moss. He's just unbelievable. He's unbelievable. So yeah, I think Ohio State gets that one done. What do you think?
They get it.
I agree.
Duke, North Carolina.
Duke, North Carolina, that's only a big game just because if Duke finds a way to win it, I don't know what's going to be going on with Riley Leonard, but if they find a way to win that game, the Louisville is guaranteed and locked in their spot in the ACC championship game. So, of course, all the Louisville fans got to become Duke fans. I know it's going to be hard this week, Louisville fans, but y'all going to have to cheer for Duke and Kentucky in football. So, I don't know if that's ever happened in a single week in the history of the program, but that's what has to happen. So, yeah, y'all make it happen. Then, of course, USC and Caleb Williams, and hopefully he's not crying no more. He was over there crying after the game last week. That upset me, too. Why are these kids so soft? Why are these young kids so soft now?
It hurts.
He was crying like a baby over a regular season football game.
I've been there before. I cried.
Ain't no crying in football, bro. Ain't no crying in football. I'm sorry. He over there crying. Ain't no crying in football, man.
It takes a man to cry.
No, you ain't crying on the sidelines of a football game.
It takes a man to cry.
I would have. They got his mama rubbing his head and all that stuff. I would have pushed him out of them stands. My mama would have pushed me out of them stands if I was over there crying about a football game.
My dear mama's baby.
You put a towel over your head, you're crying on the side. Roll it up.
Yeah, suck it up. That bothered me. That bothered me sitting there doing all that crying, carrying on. I'd be like, boy, somebody need to knock him upside the head. That's why I'd be like, that's why you're losing.
Yeah.
Right? That right there is why you're losing. Yeah. Because you're over there crying. Hey, that rubbed me the wrong way. Everybody trying to look at, that just breaks. That don't break my heart. Somebody need to go over there and push that boy up out them stands.
It takes a month.
Oh, come on, Caleb. These young people today are soft. They soft. I asked my son, after I saw him crying, I went and asked my son, I said, why your generation so soft for?
What did he say?
He's like, I don't know, Dad. Oh, it's an extra deep voice. I don't know, Dad. But you know what? To my son's credit, he even went in and told his classmates that this generation is soft. So I give my son credit for that. He says, yeah, we are soft. So at least you know it. Thank you. Soft. Soft as can be. Whereas, girl. No, but I don't know. Hopefully, Crying Caleb Williams can get off the mat and beat Oregon because that would help Louisville. If they were able to knock off Oregon, that would eliminate Oregon from playoff contention. So that would actually move Louisville into 8th place coming in. LSU team. LSU had their shot to do something, and they lost because Brian Kelly just has not. When I knew it was over for Brian Kelly, who was in there taking all them pictures. Remember he's taking all them photographs and stuff, doing all that dancing. Once again. Come on, Coach. Like all that posing for the camera and doing all that. No. This is football. This is not a fashion show. You know what I'm saying? These are things I'm talking about. I know it may be old school. I may be throwing it back a little bit, but those are the games that probably impact Louisville the most. I think that when you look at that playoff run, there are several games that are very important games, big marquee matchups, maybe not going down the way you expected. But now a team like USC can look to play spoiler. A team like Kentucky can go in and play spoiler. That they had the big win on the road, looked much better versus Mississippi State last week, 24-3, very dominant win for them. Devin Leary remembered how to pass again, which was amazing to see him go out there and actually pass the ball. The forward pass still works in Kentucky in Lexington.
That's going to be a great football game.
We'll
Kentucky comes in.
If that UK defense can come in, well, I mean, I'm talking about the Alabama game. I'm talking about what UK can do for me. This is what UK can do for me as a Louisville fan. Is they can go in there and they can, put up a good fight against Alabama, keep that thing close, and maybe try to steal in the fourth quarter. They need some help. They need some defensive touchdowns and have something go their way, maybe block a kick or do something like that. Because Milroe the quarterback for Alabama has been a little up and down, even though Alabama has been playing better as of late. And with the fact that UK played so well on the road, anytime they get an SEC road win, that's a big deal. So the fact that they're going to be coming back to Commonwealth Stadium, I think there's a reason for optimism. If they can get Ray Davis going, with the fact that Leary's actually passing the ball pretty well, there's going to be a shot. There's going to be an opportunity. So we'll see. We'll see. I don't think there's any guarantees as of yet, with that, but there's at least a possibility that Louisville can, that Kentucky can at least keep it close.
It gets more and more exciting here at more Shenanigans tonight, Leonard. Tonight,
that's right.
They have karaoke here at 9:30.
Yeah, karaoke is going to be going down. I cannot wait. They get going sometime between 9:30 and 10. Yeah. They get that going. Of course, your boy's going to be here. I got a couple songs in the holster, so I'm getting ready for that. I cleared the throat out.
Why you going to guys out and just sing?
Yeah, because, hey, the show. You know what I'm saying? It's the show after the show.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? I got to entertain the people. It's what I do. Jay has what you got for us? You got a little simple man? What you got for us?
I'm still going through things in my chest.
No. So you ain't got nothing for us.
Oh, my Edwards.
Hey, I'll tell you what though. Watching this Kentucky team, and I know, like I said, we'll get into basketball more in this second hour of the show. I'm impressed with what I've seen so far with Kentucky. That kid Edwards is a beast.
This is a very young, basketball team.
Very young. But I mean, it's a throwback to Calipari's old days.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Well, he's got the freshmen. He's got that mixture of the freshmen. Got a couple nice veterans. But hey,
very good basketball team.
Absolutely. So I mean,
but to be 16th in the country, I disagree with that.
You think they should be ranked higher?
Oh, of course.
Really? Well,
that's the top 10.
Well, I mean, with the change in what happened in the Final Four this past year with all the transfers and having the older veteran teams, I think that really kind of changed the way people look at teams. That now they want to see who the veterans are. You know what I'm saying? They want to see who are the teams that are. Who's got a bunch of seniors, who's got a bunch of upperclassmen, because right now, that's what's winning. By the way, just to give you all an update on the Louisville game right now, Cardinals trail 7:15 of the second half, 17:15 in the second half, 41-31. Right now, the Cardinals are being led currently. Looks like Mike James once again is coming in. He's doing his thing. 8 points for Mike James, 8 points for Trey White. As well as Curtis Williams coming off the bench to add in 6. Looks like another tough shooting day right now for UofL. Not shooting it well, and the Mocs are doing their thing. So just as an FYI on there. So like I said, we'll continue to monitor that situation. we'll continue to look into that. But Jay, just in terms of college football as a whole, it's been kind of a wide open year. Is there any team that you really like? Like, from what you've seen out of Ohio State, from what you've seen out of, Michigan or any of these teams that are up there top four? It could be Florida State. Like, who impresses you?
At the beginning of the season, I had a chance to watch Tennessee before their quarterback went down.
Yes.
That freshman. And that Tennessee football team is tough. And he went down with a knee injury, I believe, right?
Yes.
And that freshman.
Yes.
He's All-American, and he went down. But that was one team that surprised me.
Yeah, and they got Joe Milton, the transfer. They got Milton in there. So I mean, he's okay, but he's definitely not that moment.
There's several teams out there I like. I like Texas. I like Oklahoma. Back in the days, I was an Oklahoma fan. Back in the days, Barry Switzer.
And they have been playing better. They've gotten shaken up. Oklahoma has over the last couple of weeks playing some closer games. So I don't know if they're necessarily ready for the spotlight yet. But they're playing decent. I think Texas is probably the only team in the Big 12 that I think is going to have a legitimate opportunity to play their way into the playoff. So I think it's pretty much Texas or bust for the Big 12 when it comes to the playoffs. So can Texas find a way in their last year in the Big 12 to make it to make it to a Final Four playoff run?
Steps call.
We'll have to see about that.
Yeah. Anyway, I mean, there's so many good teams out there, man. But I'm so impressed by Jeff Brom's train. Get on the train now.
Hey, it's very interesting because I think that
the city's excited.
The city's excited. People are very, very excited about it, and when you have the opportunity for something special like that, it's not going to be like this every year. It's not going to be like that, all the time. But it's great to get this started because what it does is not only do you have an opportunity for something special this year, all of the recruits, Louisville's had a lot of big-time recruit weekends over the last several years. And all of these players, all of these young guys are coming out here, seeing what Louisville's doing. One of the things that I've thought has been very interesting about this Louisville team is that Jeff Brom came into the season as a guy that everybody knew he wanted to pass the ball, so it was a very attractive offense for quarterbacks, a very attractive offense for wide receivers, so we saw him get a big bump in recruiting early at those positions. But now, with how good the defense is at all three levels, defensive line, linebacker core, secondary, how good they are running the ball with Gerard Jordan and Isaac Garendo. This is an offense that everybody wants to get involved in. This is a defense that everybody wants to get involved in. So the great thing about recruiting for Jeff Brom right now has got to be about as easy as can be because you have something to sell to everybody.
Well, he became like number 5 in that portal. 29 kids in the portal.
Yeah. They had, I believe, a top 5 portal class. Depending on where you looked at it, it was high as number 2 or number 3. Of course, Coach Prime with his 75 players he brought in, was at number 1. But he had a top 5 portal class, and I think that's going to continue. On top of the fact that he's doing an excellent job recruiting out of high school.
A kid or a receiver last week.
JoJo Stone Jr. Was a former LSU commitment, 4-star wide receiver. Made his commitment. He's out of Georgia. He decommitted from LSU, and then within 2 weeks he committed to the University of Louisville. He's a kid that took several visits to the University of Louisville. Had always kind of been on the cusp, but for whatever reason he wanted to commit to LSU. But the whole time he was committed to LSU, he was wearing Louisville gear, which was always odd to me. It's like this kid's committed to LSU, but every time they show him and you check his Instagram story and all that type of stuff, he's always wearing Louisville swag. So, JoJo finally made his commitment. So hey, that's just another guy in the holster. That's another bullet in the holster for that Louisville offense. Now they go out, find them a quarterback. I mean, I know they got Pierce Clarkson. I know they got Brady Allen. They got some other guys. None of those 9 quarterbacks are playing, and with the way that Jack Plummer's playing, if none of those quarterbacks can beat out Jack Plummer, I'm not really going to buy into the starter for next year is on the roster right now. So if I'm Jeff Brom, no. If I'm Jeff Brom, I am looking to go out and find one of the best 2 or 3 quarterbacks in the portal for next year. Because even if, Pierce Clarkson's redshirting, I don't know if Pierce Clarkson is going to be ready to take over as a redshirt freshman. That they have some other guys coming in. They have another freshman coming in as well for next year. But if I'm Louisville, especially in this era of the transfer portal, everybody is looking like a candidate for, transfers. That kid last night, Calandria from Virginia, you think I wouldn't be calling up to Charlottesville? Hey, that can run, had an arm, made some nice passes. You think Jeff Brom can work with something like that? Hey, I mean, that's the new era of college football that we're in. Where, while you're playing teams, you're shopping like you're shopping for groceries. You know what I'm saying? Jeff Brom's for coaching the game and paying attention to every one of them guys. Who over there can help me out? I honestly think that's where we're at in college athletics. And not only in football, but in basketball as well. Where, with this one-time transfer, these kids, this is like auditions. I don't know if you saw it, but there was a kid, the freshman quarterback for NC State, okay, after Brendan Armstrong gets replaced by this freshman, MJ Adams, I think was the kid's name, played 2 games for NC State, looked really good, and announced he was going to redshirt and sit the rest of the year. But his anticipation for doing that, his reason for doing that was because he got a lot of attention because of how well he played, to where now he's looking to get that NIL payment and go ahead and transfer to a bigger school. That's the world we live in now, Jay. These kids can get paid, and they have an opportunity to do big things quickly,
So the kid that was quarterback last night against Virginia can put himself in the portal.
I mean, he could.
Wow.
If I'm Brom, I'm looking at every kid that looked like he, could do a little something, especially somebody you see up close.
Yeah.
You see their smarts, you see their athleticism, you see the arm talent, that's something that you got to evaluate. So you're not only just coaching the game, you're also doing recruiting while you're coaching games. Like, it's crazy. Like, but that's where we're at. So, I think that's going to be something that we'll have to continue to monitor, because I ain't going to lie to you. Like, there's several kids every game. That the kid Washington, the wide receiver from Virginia, 75 plus catches, over 1,000 yards receiving. I'm figuring that Jamari Thrash is probably going to be going, to the league. I'm guessing that Jamari Thrash is probably going to go ahead and put his name in the NFL draft. So if that happens, hey, Mr. Washington, you think that you might want to come to Derby City? Yeah. Wear some glow uniforms that don't glow?
They made a commercial with that other night, man, and the glowing.
Man, they hyped up them glow uniforms like it was going to be the greatest thing since sliced bread. That was terrible. That was the worst. That was the worst promotion ever. I ain't gonna lie to you. Like, that was.
You need to stop.
I'm just saying.
That was John Mars.
but no, I tell you what. No. Like, they could have turned off the lights for a second, man. Just turn the lights off for a second. Do some little. What was that? What's the little purple lights? The ones that, thank you. Turn down the stadium lights, turn on some black lights, just do a little rave for give me 5 minutes in between quarters. Give me something. Like, I just want to see the jerseys glow for a hot little second, man. Like, that was just so disappointing. I was so sad. I was excited about the glow uniforms, Jay. When they was walking in the hallway, they looked real good. Until they got out on the stadium. Then nobody knew it was a glow game. It was just like, why is Louisville wearing black and green uniforms? Is it St. Patrick's Day? That was kind of terrible. I know I need it. I'm sorry, Miss Kathy. I apologize. She's going to look at me like, Rayshawn, why did you do that? I'm sorry, Miss Kathy. I apologize. Miss Kathy Tronzo, one of the wonderful sports administration folks over there at the University of Louisville. I give her a hard time sometimes, so I'm sorry, Miss Kathy. I'm just playing. By the way, just a score check on University of Louisville. They are currently trailing 48-36 in the second half, 13 minutes to go. Kentucky is still in a dogfight. They have not gotten rid of a pesky Texas A&M Commerce team, 52-64. Only down 12 right now. So looking for a UK to go ahead and get a few stops and get that together. A nice little dunk right there. So at least Kentucky's winning the game. By as much as Kentucky's winning, Louisville's losing to Chattanooga, just about. That's the world we live in now. Wait till we get back off this break. I know we coming up on our hour break before we get out of here for about 5 minutes and then come back to you guys for the second half. But when we get back, Jay, we got to talk about this basketball team. We got to talk about what's going on.
Kenny Payne.
Because Rick
Pitino. We're going to talk about college basketball coming up in just a bit. 502.
Absolutely.
502. Rashard Myers in the building, y'all.
Yeah. Hey, we will be back. Make sure you continue to check us out. This is Rashard Myers, 96.1 FM, 1450 AM, and we will be back on Game Day 502. Come on out, more shenanigans. Marissa's got the drinks ready for you. You know what I'm saying? Miss Chris is in the back hooking up some chicken wings, some pizza, something. Something's going down. Come out, 4521 Bardstown Road is going down, more shenanigans. We'll be back hour number 2. We're talking basketball. Buckle up, get ready, because I'm probably going to be clowning a lot of people real quick. We'll be back for more shenanigans.